Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today I'm very excited to have Blake Comfort with us, and Blake is a San Diego boy, man, whatever you want to call Blake, and he grew up in the San Diego area and is now into owning trailer home parks. Right? That's probably the wrong word for that, but at any rate, he now owns 2,700 units of mobile homes. So Blake, it's great to have you. I'd just love to hear how you got this far in that world.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I have three names: trailer parks, mobile home parks, or manufactured home communities, depending on who I'm selling, you know?
Okay. All right.
I'm a product, and someday I'm hoping to thank Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad Poor Dad was the impetus, kind of the thing that planted the deal junkie bug in my brain. And so I was a good kid, didn't get into too much trouble, but I was not bound for a university. I really didn't want to go to school. I didn't like school since I was like 10 years old. So I'm kind of more of that, cut from the entrepreneurial cloth, if you will. As soon as I got out of high school, actually, but while I was still in my senior year, I was going to Rich Dad education seminars where they pitch you on these really expensive courses, at the end. And so we took the bait, borrowed $26,000 from my grandma.
Wow.
And my dad and I, pledged to one another that we would be good for the money, and to my grandma. And we bought a how to purchase and operate mobile home park course from the Rich Dad education series at the time.
Wow.
And started our journey, and we didn't have any money. Obviously, we borrowed the 26 grand, and we dove in. It was like 2 days a week. You at night, for 2 or 3 hours, you watch a live stream, kind of early webinar kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
2009, I think, as maybe 2008, 2009. I was coming out of high school with basically the comment from my parents was, we'll pay for you to go to like a normal college, like not expensive college, like community, or you can go get a job and go get work. And so my mom like forced me. I signed up. I made it through college for, I think, 10 functional days. And
wow, you really went all in.
And I decided that it was not for me. I bought my books on Amazon. It was like a ripoff. It was like $400.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I decided to take them, and I walked out and I threw them in the trash and I left. I was appalled in an art class that it was a waste of my time. And I had these ideas of, becoming a real estate guy in the back of my head already planted. And so I went and got my real estate license. I sold a handful of like condos and townhomes and stuff as a young kid just to survive. While we underwent this program that was sort of it was 2 days a week. My dad and I did it, but there was kind of this, you're on this long train. It was no like get rich quick scheme. So anyways, we did it. We started pursuing mobile home parks. Our first deal, we tied up a few all over the country. We figured out pretty fast that we needed to be somewhere like west of the Rockies, because when you went over back east, we lost track of the utility. We just couldn't figure out how the wastewater treatment facilities worked. And so we just bumped into oddball things that now I know a lot more about. But back then we were like, you know what, let's stick with west of the Rockies where water goes in the ground. We can understand septic, and we can deal with things that come up. So we bought our first deal outside of Denver, a 28 unit.
Oh, okay.
And we because San Diego's always been kind of expensive for, I'd say, ground level, right?
Right.
So our first deal, like the purchase price was $600,000 for a 28 unit.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. That was in year what?
2009. We closed it towards the end.
Okay.
2009.
All right. So right after the famous 2000, the Great Recession, so to speak. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
prices were probably a little better at that time, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like cap rates were unbelievable now in hindsight. Like, I think we bought that first deal as a 12% cap.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
cash on cash was incredible. Came with some risk factors, and it had a well, but it had city sewer, and so the well, we were like, okay, we can figure it out. I learned my lesson on that, So it was kind of that was my education start. I managed it. I collect the rents. I mean, I figured out the negotiation, how to purchase it, getting the contract, all that, and then um, figured out we actually had the guy seller carry because I had a hard time finding a lender on the front end.
Oh,
Seller
right.
carried for like 2 years. I was able to find a bank, get revenue up in 2 years, enough to find a bank. But it was like back then, lenders were like hiding.
Oh, yeah. Well, they
you
just
know, like
come through a bad time. So, yeah, they didn't want to lend to anything risky. Yeah.
so I found a local bank, willing to do the loan after a couple years, and then we had it for another 8 or 9 years.
Wow.
Then we kind of cut our teeth on that deal. We bought another one in 2011 in Durango, Colorado.
Wow.
And then that was when my 2010, 2011, my dad went completely blind. I was mentioning that off camera. So then we kind of took us a little bit of time to regroup, but we actually were in escrow when he went blind, and we ended up closing that deal.
Wow.
And that one was a cool outside of Durango, Colorado, which is a really pretty town, ski town kind of vibe there. And 37 units for 1.3 million, and then went into started making our way southwest into Arizona. And once we got a taste of Arizona, we just really loved the concept of it, of all of the major cities around Arizona. So yeah, I mean, I could go through every one, but I'll give you the summary if you'd like, unless you want me to stop and answer a question.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So we became syndicators. Long story short is we raised money. So like the first deal, 600 grand, we raised 250 grand, the down payment plus a couple bucks in the bank account. Second deal, we raised like 500 to 600 grand. Third deal we bought for 2.3 million. It was a 70 unit in Cottonwood, Arizona. So kind of up by Sedona.
Okay.
Really great market now, really pretty area for Arizona, cooler. And that was a $2.3 million deal. First Fannie Mae loan I had done, agency loan engagement. That was 2012. And, raised $1 million for that one.
Wow.
Okay. And we just, that's basically, you take that out. Now that's really, we had the core structure at that moment. Things weren't perfect. We were operating. I had brought my sister in when my father went blind as our third partner. She's my operational legal backbone.
Nice.
So she kind of took on management and accounting and some of the legal side. I would chase deals and negotiate and raise money. And then from that point forward, we try to do at least 1 to 2 deals a year. So we bought like a 40 unit in Peoria, Arizona, so West Valley of Phoenix. And then we bought a Mesa, Arizona asset. And then we started working our way into Tucson and then back around into Phoenix. And so long story short, I've transacted a total of 40 mobile home parks. We still own and operate 26, 27. I'm kind of always selling a couple, always buying a couple. So that's kind of why it's a flux number. I'm selling 3 smaller assets right now, and I'm buying 4 more that are bigger. And so now I'm really pruning the portfolio, but we have 2,700 units, give or take a few, and all mobile home parks, all old school, what you'd think of from 70s, 80s vintage metal on metal trailer type trailer park, up into manufactured homes, brand new. I'm a full blown manufactured home dealer for our states, Arizona and Texas, that we're now in. We just entered Texas last year. We bought 350 units in 2024 in DFW, just a couple of different cities around. roughly 100 units each.
Oh, I see.
And
not one deal, but
correct. 3 separate assets,
Yeah.
that compile 350 units. And then I'd say some of our operational magic is we really focus on markets. And I've found success long-term, even though you have to be patient, in that I build better lasting relationships with everybody involved, and I can operate more efficiently. I can have team members that do specific tasks within a portfolio versus if I hire a manager at one mobile home park that's out on its own, I now am relying on them for a lot of different skill sets. And it's hard to do that. Every person's a little bit better at one thing versus another.
Right.
And so now we build a team in a market. And so the goal for us every time we go to a new market is to boot up roughly 300 to 400 units plus, because that means we can have 3 people, 1 manager, 1 person running around giving out notices, keeping their eye on quality. We call them quality control, and 1 salesperson. And then they can complement each other, and they can each live in a different community. But I don't have 3 managers that aren't great at, are better at one thing than the other. So it really is part of our
I thought you were going to say one of those people was going to be like a handyman, fix-it person, but that's a different skill set.
Yeah. Well, and so part of the mobile home park magic is we really try hard not to own any homes.
Oh, I see. So there's not a lot of repair you have to do. Yeah.
In theory. I mean, we do have
Well, I'm sure you have a few community rooms and clubhouses and pools or whatever, and that's probably maintenance headaches, but I'm sure maybe not that bad.
You keep your, we have handyman, contractor type guys. But then the pool guy takes care of the pool pumps or any repairs needed. You kind of vendor out the rest. And to be honest, we don't need a lot of maintenance guys.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. If you had asked me, how much maintenance on a mobile home park you'd have, I would have thought a lot. But now that you describe it, I'm going, oh, okay. Yeah. You don't own the home. You just own the pad. So they hook it up, they run it. If they have a problem, they fix it.
Our electrician and our plumbers love us, but they're not in house. It's like, okay, hey, this water line broke and it's leaking underneath this unit, or where the water pipe comes out of the ground. That's not an in-house thing most of the time, anyways. So you're needing to dig underneath the house, fix a water line, fix a sewer line. It's a professional plumbing shop operation. And then same thing with electrical pedestals, the feed and the meter box for the electric. That's a vendor, So yeah, it's a pretty amazing. It's something that Dad and I stumbled into in the Rich Dad Education Series platform, and I'm really thankful for. They just mentioned it and covered it kind of really broad strokes, the different asset classes in multifamily, and we loved it because. My dad was a general contractor in San Diego and built apartments. And he loved that if something ever happened to a unit, you could replace it with a brand new one.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You didn't burn the building down or half the building. And now you're just challenged to retrofit and build that thing back and bring it back to life. That's a heck of an undertaking. When you have a mobile home, whatever, get flooded in from an internal exterior source or fire damage or something, you pull it out, you buy a brand new one. Get this. This is a fun fact. I've been trying to tell everybody right now. Clayton, Cavco, Champion, the main manufacturers that are publicly traded companies that provide all the manufactured homes to the industry. They're still building single wide homes for $50 to $60 a foot.
What? No way. Where are they based out of?
They're all over. They have plants all over.
Wow. $50 to $60 a square foot. Yeah, wow.
Now that's baseline apartment grade stuff. Okay. So don't too much.
But fancy. Yeah.
If you want hard countertops and all that, it's all options, and you might push $100 a foot. But we're in it for under 100. I'm buying brand new homes right now for $60,000.
Hi. Holy moly.
Now that is that's like a 800 to 1,000 foot. That's $60 a foot, right? 1,000.
Well, wait a minute.
As they go smaller, then your price per square foot starts to elevate.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But so let's say 1,000 square foot single, which is a pretty good sized long single.
Yeah.
It's 60 grand.
Well, wait. So, are you saying that you do own some of the homes and rent them out?
So I install them as a dealer in our communities and sell them.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't, no rental. You're just renting the pads.
If I'm honest, I do. On a as needed basis, I have had to set like 50 homes in a property, and I rent them, and then I turn them over and retail sell them over time. Just because it's hard to sell 50 homes fast all at the same time. Versus I could fill them as rentals, like apartments and rental homes, and do like a build for rent. That's kind of how it feels. I have all these mobile homes show up, they set them, and I rent them as they come in. And then upon turnover, like apartment turnover, I sell them off to the end user. But then I don't have a gun to my head to sell 50 at a time.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying that you also do develop mobile home parks?
So I've bought unreasonably nasty mobile home parks.
I see.
That have like septic systems that are broken and it's 50% occupied. So like I have like a really odd set of skills from all of those deals that I've done, and I learned a lot. And we joke, this one deal, I was out in Mesa, and we joked that it's the deal that killed Dad and the deal that made my head of operations go gray. Because he's got gray hair now. And so, yeah, we've learned the hard way that we actually prefer to buy really good located assets that don't have a lot of issues with all the utilities and infrastructure. We'll repair infrastructure, but when you go full conversion or replacement, it's a headache. It's not easy,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wow. All these things that I'm learning. I'm not sure I wanted to learn these, but this is very, very interesting. So, all right. So what's the current mobile home market like right now?
So it is extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Like I would say it's probably the most competitive that I've seen it. Because we're all institutionally backed. Like I'm selling to deals. So are you from the institutional realm of private equity and stuff?
No.
So anyways, there's institutional money, pension fund money, and like huge billion, $100 billion groups.
Huge amount of money on the sidelines right now.
And they want access to deals. But it is a pretty close-knit group of people that have been in the weeds here, for a long time. And so brokers don't want to sell to those guys. Because the future prospects of potentially selling it again are not clear.
They're going to hold. Yeah.
Or they take a big fund and then it gets recapped by another group and another fund. And it rolls up into Wall Street and you never see the light of day again.
Wow.
And so it's really become this interesting game of like chess mixed in with like like a turf war. Private versus institutions. And I'm friends with both sides because I like selling to the institutions.
Yeah, of course. Right.
They pay a good number and they're okay to work with and all that. But then I sort of know that I may not ever see that inventory back in the industry.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of like gone. It's never going to come back again, or maybe likely not.
It might, but we can't depend on it.
Yeah. Well, I suspect if it's a bigger park, like 100, 200, 300 units, probably not going to see it again. So, or at least not.
And it works, and it does what everyone thought it was going to do. So we're private. We raise money privately, and so it's really been kind of an interesting dynamic in the last couple years. If you're not private, it's like I'd say I get a lot of kudos and maybe last looks or first looks, depending on how you look at it, on deals because I am playing ball long term and I'm going to sell. And then I'm private, so I don't have an investment committee. That's a big boardroom of execs.
Oh, yeah.
Making a buy or no buy. I get to make the decision on the behalf of the equity that honestly, it's been a huge honor and a blessing to put together over the years. So cap rates, to give you the summary, cap rates are holding hard. I'd say 4.5 to 5 cap rate
Wow.
realm.
Wow.
So we're under, like they're negative interest rates in a way.
Yeah, right.
Because we're buying at an in-place number that's under, call it a 5-ish cap.
Right.
And then rates are right now, I'm rate locking this week on a deal. I think treasuries are still holding at 4.2. Right now, our deals are trading. So we're doing 10-year fixed rate, interest only, moderate leverage, like 55% loan to values at 100 basis points, 1% over the treasury.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So our spreads are trading inside of a lot of other assets.
Wow.
So I've been told. And so we're having kind of a cool moment there. So then the key for us is making sure we have upside in rents. So we're only really buying things that are just historically undermanaged by a decent percentage. Mom and pop, whatever the scenario is, they just missed the couple $100 that we're now getting at sister properties, and they're not.
Yeah. Well, so that's a question I have, is that how difficult is it to push rents? So you're at a certain rate and you want to push it up $100, $200. Are people freaking out, or are they like, okay, here it comes?
I'd say the best way to answer that is I get probably 2 or 3 phone calls kind of pinging us like, what's going on? And then we just kind of show them or tell them, hey, we're under market. Yeah. And then we go in, we do like a multifamily style execution on the clubhouse, pool area, furnishings inside, the availability. Our team is really respectful, takes care of phone calls. We try to be overly attentive in the realm of mobile home parks. It's kind of not normal. So we try to add a lot of value on the front end when we go in. New signage, street lights, whatever the case may be. New roads. My sister has a gal that she works with, a design gal we just brought in house. When we go full tilt, we spend a couple $100,000 on clubhouses. Most of the time they're block buildings. They've been there, but they just need some paint and some fluff up and furnishings and flooring. It's not like we're doing any big construction.
Make them look so much better. Yeah.
And new pool furniture. And I mean, it's unreal what you do and then new signage. It all kind of looks the same throughout. And we're kicking around having standardized numbers on all the homes that tie in with the design and things of that nature, where nobody does that really to speak of. And then the rent increase goes out and we get a few phone calls, as long as we're not being overly aggressive.
So then what about eviction rates?
We lose the bad apples that don't clean up their houses. Because like there's always a handful when you inherit a property that you're not managing that are like junk or, whatever you want to call them, hoarders, hoarder type scenarios where it's just junk everywhere. Yeah. But we've also resolved a lot of that. So we lose a couple people over the first year, I'm sure, but not big numbers.
Right. So not that bad. And you replace them with a better unit and hopefully better tenants and all that kind of good stuff. So
correct.
Excuse me. All right. So now we've got to the present. Now, what do you think the famous future is going to bring?
So I'm on a quest to keep mobile home parks private in the markets that I really love, which is Phoenix, Dallas, maybe like Orlando, Central Florida, some of the bigger cities in the Carolinas, Tennessee, pepper in some of the smaller cities I think are going to grow, but I have to be in a place of growth, population growth, people going there in order for the long-term revenue to continue to increase,
Right.
And so what's, I'd say, a magic piece in our industry that is probably underweighted for private money, if you have other real estate holdings or are a real estate professional, depreciation is unparalleled. So because we don't own the structures, we do cost aggregation studies. Yeah. And we I'll just give you a hypothetical, $10 million purchase price on a mobile home park.
Okay. Yeah.
$8 million is attributed to underground and mechanical improvements.
Oh, wow.
And I get to write that off first year.
Oh man, your investors must be pretty happy about that.
So that's how I raise money. I mean, in the larger swaths is people that have holdings, have produced wealth, maybe had an exit on, a blue collar business that they built for 30 years. And now they're trying to get good rental income, but they have a few rentals and their properties of their own. And they're looking for losses mixed with real returns. And we're doing like now with that new July 4th Trump tax bill, we're going to do probably 130% of invested equity. Wow. So if you invest 100 grand, I give you the first year 130K loss.
Wow.
That you can offset other income from passive sources if you have it.
Yeah.
Or other stuff. Yeah. So it's
wow.
That's the whole realm of it, So it's that's really why I think the institution should go do something else, because they're not really good at operating them either. So like,
no, they can't be. They've got a jillion units and they've got, hands and feet on the ground, but how good are they? And, it can't be great. So it's got to be.
And it's the depreciation's lost on them. The pension funds can't use it.
And they can't pass it on. So I assume when you do sell a park, you exchange it into another one. Maybe you don't have to.
No, you kind of do. We're in the state of California, so they're going to take their pound of flesh if we don't. It's really the only way to not pay California taxes, to do a successful 1031. And so I'm a little bit of a cowboy in 1031s. Most people won't do them on scale, and I do. I'll take like 3 or 4 properties, with those sale proceeds and roll them into larger assets with tenant and common structures. And run, but it's a little bit of a crazy engineering, jump from these smaller properties to the larger ones. If we always have to raise new equity to go alongside that old equity in order to make sure the exchanges are tax tight, they pass all that. So we do all that.
Well, so what do you do with an investor that wants to bail out early?
There's actually a really cool process that we really now just hammered out. Effectively, like this year and in the next few weeks, we're going to do it for the first time, knowing all the culmination of our experience. So what you do is, upon closing, I insert their redemption documents from our LLC.
Okay.
And the title and escrow pays them their portion out. Let's say there's $1 million of proceeds. They own 10%.
Yeah. Okay.
I give them their redemption docs per whatever's requested on the side of title and escrow, and what we have to do to execute the redemption. Right. And at closing, I only move $900K to my exchange, and they get paid out $100K.
Oh, wow.
Directly from escrow. And that way it cuts it out of my exchange and doesn't break the rest of it. Doesn't break the rest of the exchange.
Oh, interesting. Okay. But so what's your typical investment cycle? Like 5 years, 10 years?
Our average is 7.
7. Yeah. Okay. So if people want to bail out after 7 years, they can, but they can stay in if they want to.
And I'd say 95% just roll, because I'm completely tax efficient, and my team is amazing now, and I can push and lean on. I won't typically have a couple of extension options on the sale end. I'll make sure I have a deal that'll work for the exchanges on the back end. And so you're doing a lot of pre-planning for like months, and then it all kind of starts to roll.
So that first year you get this great deduction. So then after that, I assume you just kind of, clip coupons, shall we say.
So our average returns, cash on cash, are 6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
But it starts out at a 5 for a couple years. Typically, while I get my arms around it, I get a couple of rent bumps in. Yeah. Sometimes we close a deal and it's 8 months before I do a rent increase because of timing on when it's going to hit.
Right.
So then I'll do a couple of years worth of grooming, and then the cash on cash starts edging like 0.5% a year.
Yeah.
and to average 7 roughly for my
yeah.
hold, and then gets up into the 7, 8, 9% in the end, tail end. I'm doing 10-year debt now because it's just pricing so much better. So I'm now doing 10-year deals, the current last couple of years. And then our average return, I wouldn't probably plan for this, but our average return's been a 20% AAR.
Nice.
Like, overall return versus IRR's probably been mid to upper teens average. Now I'm buying better quality assets that I think are a little bit more risk adjusted, better long term. Still get the same tax benefits, but they're institutional quality deals that are much more transactable in the future. So our returns now are IRRs are mid to low teens, like 14-ish% IRRs, and then 16-18% AAR.
So I think the big key is here. How do you find the part to buy? That's got to be an interesting trick.
Oh my God. You wouldn't believe, the links on the connections and the conversations and the cocktail parties and oh my God. I'm sort of a weird kid because I started at 18, 19. And so all these guys now that are sort of taking the batons from these older gentlemen that are just hitting that retirement age and we're really great brokers in the day. A lot of those guys are basically decided to leave at the close of this last cycle. They're like, this is it. They had a heck of a run.
Yeah. Okay.
And now deals are skinny, tight, and everyone's having a hard time putting them together. And so it's all these younger guys, call them 40-ish.
Yeah.
That we've been doing deals for 10 years plus together.
Right.
And so it's just a friend network. And then I continue to push and grow that. But then my track record, the fact that I don't have an investment committee, I am a pretty straight shooter. I do pretty wild things like hard money right out the gate. Things that you just can't do depending on how your format is on how you deploy capital. And if I wasn't, I probably would have a lot harder time winning deals.
So how often are you on an airplane?
It's actually funny. I used to be a lot, but I really work hard to only be gone quarterly now.
Nice.
And then my team, I have cameras everywhere on sites, right? Oh. And like 6, 8 cameras on properties on power poles and things, just to keep optics. The office in each place has cameras. Yeah. And for vandalism and all that, but also just to hold everyone accountability on the team, projects moving. And then we have 60 people on the team in the field. So it's really a machine now. Just the last couple years to where I really wouldn't be doing my job if I had to physically be there all the time.
So okay, I want to go way back to the beginning and ask you a question. Did that first class you took cost $26,000? Wow. I wanted to anyway. Wow. Okay.
It was a lot of money. I laugh now, but hey, it was worth it. It paid off.
Apparently it worked. I wonder what that cost is now. It's got to be twice that, I'm sure. So anyway, if they're even still doing it.
No, it's not. It's not even around. I think Robert Kiyosaki had to hang it up. It was like, I think Trump was involved back then. It was this whole thing, but they got sued and they had to put it all aside, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah.
Well, is BlackRock in the mobile home business?
No, we actually met with their whole team. They would potentially go in with their real estate asset management team. But they really, funny enough, BlackRock specifically is really worried about PR risk. So they're concerned about the optical, risk factors of like affordable housing and just where that would go. And but Blackstone is heavy in MHC.
BlackRock versus Blackstone. Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting.
Separate. Blackstone is kind of the BlackRock of real estate private equity. BlackRock is the more market side,
Oh, okay. I did not realize that. Interesting. All right. Well, we could probably talk for another couple days, but let's end here. I may want to come back and talk to you in 6 months just to see how the market is doing at that point, but we should be in touch.
I study macro. So if you have any particular macroeconomic questions, I'm in the weeds on like interest rates and things too. So what do you try to derive for your listeners?
Well, I think you've provided everything that any good listener will want to know, and particularly if they're interested in the whole mobile home park world, because quite frankly, I see this as a booming market. I mean, it's not going away, and people need affordable housing, and mobile home parks are certainly an area that probably is expanding fairly quickly right now. So
what I particularly love about it too is it's really difficult to buy new ones, or build new ones, bring more supply online. It's really hard.
Oh, that even to build a new park?
Yes. It's like it's a ton of work. Oh, and wow. A big issue with our space from a new supply constraint standpoint, I now have a couple friends that are building brand new ones.
Okay.
And they work their butts off because there's no good mortgage provider for the homeowner of a land lease community.
Oh, what? The lenders don't see this as a good asset class?
For the home owner, which is basically personal property. So it's not real estate secured.
Oh, I see. There's
no secondary market.
Like it's a car to them, basically.
Correct. And we all want 20 or 30 year financing on that mobile home.
Oh, wow.
Manufactured home. So it's a really interesting thing. And I have a friend that's working on it to try to change that to where it can be lumped in with different mortgage pools with like car loans. But there's a weird Dodd-Frank rule that inhibits our ability to bundle and pool those mortgages and sell them as securities.
Huh. Oh, wow.
So there's a really interesting, which now I appreciate the fact from an investor standpoint, if I put on my capital management hat or like investor hat, if I was deploying all my cash in from the onset and I didn't know what I know, I really love that it's hard to bring more supply on, especially that these mobile home parks were built in the 70s and 80s in the middle of a city now.
Oh,
and
right.
We're buying those.
Yeah, right.
So I love that scarcity of the asset.
Wow. That is not what I was expecting to hear. All right. Well, let's stop for the moment. I've got a jillion other questions, but I think we're going to have to come back and talk again very soon.
Sounds good, Bruce. My pleasure.
Right. Well, great to have you, Blake.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Great podcast.
Thanks, Bruce.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.